Hey Hannah, thanks for coming in today. My name is Shelby, and I'm going to be with you during our sessions. So, how are you doing today?
I'm okay, I guess.
Okay, well, that's good. Before we get going, I just want to let you know that everything that we do discuss today will stay between us. However, if you tell me something that may cause harm to you or anybody else, I have to report it by law. So, I just wanted to let you know that.
I understand, and thank you for letting me know.
Great. So, well, since this is our first session together, I would just kind of like to go over with you how our sessions are going to go, if that's okay.
Okay, that sounds good.
Good. So, when we begin each session, I would like to go over kind of what's been going on with you or what's been bothering you during the week. And then we would then pick a topic that seems to be the main thing that's bothering you the most. We would then stick with that topic for the entire session. And then for the first session, since this is our first session, I just want to get to know you a little bit more and just kind of see how your week is and things like that. Then, as we move towards the end of the session, I would just kind of like to ask you a little bit um, about some feedback that you may have regarding our session. And then maybe at the end, we might be able to discuss any exercises or homework that I can give you just so I can make sure that you're getting the most out of our sessions together. So, how does this sound so far?
That sounds great, and I think I'm ready to get started.
Great. So, throughout our sessions, I just want to let you know that I might summarize things that we discuss as we progress through each session, but this is just for me to make sure that I'm on the same page with you and that I'm understanding correctly. So, just so you know, I have an idea of an approach that we can use when working together during our sessions, and this is called cognitive behavioral therapy. And what this means is that it allows us to understand that our thoughts and our feelings affect our behaviors and our actions. And I feel like this tool would be really helpful for us to use during our sessions together. So, would that be okay to use as we work together?
Yes, I'd be all right with that.
Great. So, can you just tell me a little bit more about what's been going on and kind of what's been bothering you and maybe how long everything has been going on?
Well, I am just not in a good place right now. I have been married for 10 years to my husband, and lately I have felt like we do not get along at all. I think my relationship with my husband is going downhill, and that I don't mean as much to him anymore.
Oh, okay.
He is late coming home after work all of the time, and it makes me feel like he does this on purpose to be away from me longer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm beginning to believe I'm worthless and that no one wants to be with me.
Oh, okay. Well, 10 years, that's a really long time to be married to somebody. That must feel like an accomplishment. I mean, that's a long time.
Oh, yes. Well, we've been together for 15. We met in college.
Oh, that's cool. Well, can you tell me a little bit more about the situation and anything else that I might need to know that might contribute to, your problems and things like that?
Well, my father was abandoned my mother and I when I was 7 years old. And this type of behavior from my husband has brought back a lot of memories and feelings that remind me of when my father left. I'm just so afraid he is going to leave me like my father did. I have a big fear of being abandoned.
Oh, okay.
And lately, I have been putting in long hours at the office trying to make ends meet with our bills that I have put spending time with my husband on the back burner. He works hard as well, but lately I have noticed him coming home a lot later than he usually does, which makes me feel like he chooses to stay away from me as long as he can. And I think if I was a better wife to him, he would want to be with me more. I am not as thin or pretty as I used to be, and I often feel like that I'm unwanted by him.
Okay. Well, how long have you been feeling this way?
I would say probably for about a week or two.
Okay. Well, I'm very sorry to hear about, your experience with your father abandoning you and your mom, and I know that had to be a really hard thing to go through at such a young age.
Yeah, it was hard on my mother and I.
Well, if you don't mind, I would just kind of like to summarize some of the things that we've talked about so far, just so I can make sure that we're on the same page and that I'm hearing you correctly.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, so you talked a little bit about some of your feelings of feeling unwanted and by your husband, and how these things have brought back some of your memories of your experience with being abandoned by your father. Is this correct?
Yes, it is. It has really been bothering me lately, and I'm really having a hard time with it.
Okay. Okay, so when you have these feelings of feeling unwanted or any types of feelings, associated with abandonment, when do those feelings usually come into play during your day?
I guess I start to feel this way whenever I have come home from a really long day at work, and when I get there, I'm all by myself. And I begin to feel lonely because my husband is still at work, and lately I have been trying to eat dinner alone, or been having to eat dinner alone, and I really don't like that.
Okay, so it kind of makes you feel kind of lonely whenever you get home from a long day at work and your husband's not home yet and you have to eat dinner alone, and you just came home from a long day at work and you just want to spend time with him but you can't. Is that correct?
Right. I get really sad because that is the time during the day when I want to spend time with him, and I can't because he is not home. And I think he just doesn't want to spend time with me. I think that I'm a bad wife.
Okay. Well, do you think that your husband believes that you're a bad wife?
No, he tells me I'm a good wife, but I feel like I could be a better wife to him.
Okay. Well, what might be the types of things that he does or says to you that might make you feel like you're a bad wife?
Well, he doesn't say anything to make me feel like a bad wife, but I feel like I could do more or be a better wife to him.
What might be the type of things your husband might say when he lets you know that you're a good wife?
Well, when we are alone together, maybe on the weekends, he sometimes tells me that he misses me during the week and that he wishes he could be home more, but work keeps him away. Sometimes I'll try and cook him a nice meal on the weekends because he tells me he really enjoys that, but I feel like I don't do it as often as I probably should.
So, when your husband says that he enjoys when you cook meals for him and that he misses you during the week and that he wishes he could spend more time with you more, how do you think this connects with you being a bad wife?
I see what you mean. I know that I'm an okay wife. I just don't want my husband to abandon me because I'm not good enough.
Well, it sounds to me like you and your husband have really, really hectic lives. You both put in long hours at your work, and you're just trying to find time to be with each other as much as you can because you both are just so very busy.
Yeah, we do.
Do you think that your husband believes that you might be the opposite of a bad wife?
Yeah, I guess he does. He tells me every now and then that he is not like my father and that he isn't going anywhere, but I still worry about it.
Okay. Well, Hannah, I can somewhat relate to your situation. My boyfriend and I, we dated for a very long time, but we were often really busy with school and working long hours that, we didn't get to spend as much time as we often wanted to. And I worried a lot that we would drift apart as well. But instead, when we did find time to spend with each other and be together, it just made that time more special and more enjoyable. And I think that's kind of how your husband is looking at the situation. You know, he puts in long hours at the office, and like you told me, that he really misses the time that you guys spend together, but you know, he just works really, really hard, and he sounds like he really appreciates everything you do for him and things like that. And from what I'm hearing, it sounds like you are a very supportive wife who works hard to support her husband, and he does the same thing as well, just working really hard to support you.
I never thought of it that way. I think I'm beginning to understand where you're coming from.
Great. So, if you don't mind, I would just kind of like to ask you for any feedback regarding our session together today, and just to maybe think about anything that we might have not touched on or maybe not discussed, that, you know, things that might still be bothering you, but maybe we didn't have time to discuss it today, and we might be able to, you know, talk about it a little bit more during our next sessions.
I think we talked about everything that has been bothering me for right now. I really enjoyed our session.
Good. I'm really glad to hear that. What I'd like to do now is maybe go over some homework that you can do on your own at home, just to make sure that you're working on everything that we're talking about, and just to make sure that you're getting the most out of our sessions together, if that would be okay with you.
Okay, I would really like that.
Good. Well, I noticed that you talked a little bit about how you get lonely whenever your husband isn't home to eat dinner with you, and that kind of contributes to the feelings of abandonment and things like that, because, you know, he's not there when you're home, and those feelings start to bubble up. So for your first homework assignment, I thought maybe it would be a good idea for you to become a little bit more social in your personal life. So I would like you to ask a friend out to dinner on a night that maybe your husband isn't able to eat dinner with you that night because he's working late. So maybe you could write down, you know, your experience with your friend and just kind of reflect on how it went and how it made you feel. Does that sound good?
Okay, I am going to do those things and let you know how it goes.
Okay. Well, I have one more homework assignment, if that's okay.
Okay.
Maybe throughout the week you could write down 5 different things throughout the week that you know, that makes you feel like you're a good wife to your husband. Maybe it's a compliment, or maybe like something you do for him, or just any small thing, just to kind of make you feel like you contributed. And maybe you could ask him to write a few things down as well, and you guys can work together. And maybe you could bring that list in next time we meet, and we can talk about it a little bit more. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds great. I think I can do that.
Good. Well, I look forward to meeting with you next week, and I hope you have a great day.
Okay, thanks, you too.